to say the least. Um, I don't know what's going on here. Anyway, couple things to kind of review. Number one, he's a real fan of finding source of capital or money in kind of non-traditional ways. He talks about high net worth individuals, people who maybe are in your industry who have been there a while and they sold out and they made some money, or someone that you know in the community, your church. I think one thing that's really clear to me, if you as you watch this video, when he talks about doing that, and then he talks about hiring people without paying them big salaries and related. Um, the given in all of that is you really have to have your story down, your message, your brand, what it is that you're trying to do in order to communicate to investors, in order to communicate to potential employees or anyone else. You have to do the work to think it through. Just what are you doing? What is your brand all about? How, this idea of reaching out to people and asking for help and getting input. You just saw this guy. I don't know how many meetings he had in that day, but there was a lot. And he was pretty high energy through the whole thing. And the reason is he feels like he's helping people, and that's what he's about in his own strange way. He's trying to communicate things that he has learned in his business and in his life that have been helpful to him. And in his case, he's kind of downplaying, a top quality education and access to venture capital, which is all fine. I've done both. I've done venture capital. I've done bootstrap. I've done wealthy individuals. I've worked with all those different groups, depending on what the product or the subject was. But one thing you can say, I think, about this guy is he is a true believer. He really believes in what he is doing. He believes in what he's saying to people. As he said toward the end, this isn't theory. This is what I've done. This is what I've experienced. Here's a guy who literally spit in a trash can with his dad's wine. I just can't get over that. And you can find those on YouTube, the original Gary Vee show, which became really, really popular. But anyway, I think that the message here is get your brand together, your story, what you're trying to accomplish. And if you need help, if you need workers or you need capital, give some thought to maybe some non-traditional ways of pursuing that and going after that. It might be something that you hadn't thought of before. And that was my hope with today's session, was to try to point out that there's more than one way to skin a cat. So with that, I'll open it up. Anybody wants to talk about this, what they saw, what they're thinking about it. Happy to talk. Hey, Pam.
Hey, I thought it was interesting. He said with young people, you can get them to buy in to work, I mean, like free. And here we are right now, hard to find employees.
Yeah, well,
The climate, I mean, everybody is looking for someone to go to work, and he's saying, work for me free.
well, what he's saying, it isn't really necessarily true, that because if you remember what he said, the reason he can ask them to do it because he knows he's going to pay them back in a big way. So what he's saying is he's not promoting working for free. He's promoting working for this business because it's going to be a big deal and you will be rewarded in the future. And he also specifically mentions an age group, 22, 23, 24. Even though you keep reading about all this need for employees, there are tens of thousands of people in their 21, 22, 23, 24 that are looking for an opportunity that is beyond just a paycheck or just a job. They're looking for an opportunity. He used in his example, he said that everyone he runs into either wants to be a social media influencer or wants to work for one. Okay, so that's his niche, if you will. But each of you are in a niche. Each of you do your business, and there are characteristics of that business. Are there young people out there who would want to work with where you're going with your business? I think the answer is yes, and I think that there's a lot more of them than you realize. I work with students at ECU in a variety of different ways. We actually have the only undergraduate entrepreneurship program in the state of North Carolina as an undergraduate major, believe it or not. And I don't know how many people are in that major, but the classes are jam-packed. I mean, whether they're majoring or they're just taking a class, I have no idea. But when I go to those classes or I get involved in something called the Pirate Challenge, which is a business plan competition that ECU runs every year, it's a mob scene. I mean, and these kids, it's not about a job. It's about an opportunity, a chance to do what they dream to do. And in some cases, it's really they should do a startup. They should do their own thing. And in other cases, they really should work with somebody who can show them the ropes and show them what's going on and learn and be part of something. But I think it's important that you don't bullshit people and that you don't just say that just because you want to get someone for free. You actually have to have a vision and a game plan in your own mind and a brand story. I've talked about brands over and over and over again, but that is such a critical piece. That brand and that story is literally what you're selling. That when you're selling opportunities to people to come work with you, it's that story. That's what really plays. So go, Erica, you don't have to raise your hand. You can just talk. Okay, someone, all right, well, I don't know what else to do. Can't hear you.
Can you guys
There you
hear me?
are. I can hear you now, okay.
Okay, I just wanted to add to that. What I got out of the video was that when you're approaching like these high schoolers or community college kids, is that you're offering them the opportunity to expand their portfolio. So what it is, they're kind of like you're working for them, but they're getting something in return too, because they can add this to their portfolio or something like that. That's what I got out of it.
Yeah,
When
I think that
approaching them.
I think that's really good. When I have a daughter who's now actually, gosh, I think she's 36 or 37. I don't want to think about that. But when she first graduated from college, she wanted to work in downtown DC and like public policy stuff. And so she started applying and going around to places. And she told me that she was competing against hundreds of kids who are willing to do these jobs for free. It required them to buy clothes, actually all of the expense of doing a job, but they would do it for free. And she said it was just unbelievable. And these are kids who wanted to work on Capitol Hill, or they wanted to work in policy or for an association or whatever. They had a very specific thing that their World Wildlife is down there, et cetera. But that to me was amazing, because when I'm a lot older than most of you all here, but when I graduated from college, nobody was working for free. I sure as hell couldn't afford it. I had college loans. I paid my own way through school. So, to me, it was shocking. I go, you're kidding. She goes, no, there's dozens of them for every position and they're all from top schools, and they've got incredible resumes, and they're perfectly willing to work for free. They often call it an internship, is the word you'll hear a lot. Internships are all over the place. And what Gary Vee is talking about really is internships in a lot of ways. It's the same sort of concept, except it's working for you and working with you, and you building a little bit of a team. Doesn't have to be a big team. I mean, in that video, I think the biggest team was 5 people, right? So we're not talking about dozens and dozens of people, but it might be 1 or 2. And he said you have to kiss frogs. What he means by that is not everyone's going to work out. You may have to have the ability to say, sorry, it's not working out, and goodbye,
Dennis,
But,
I had a question.
Yeah, sure.
You mentioned the program at ECU with the entrepreneurship. Is there a way that you can connect us to the people in charge of the program so that
Sure.
maybe we can find a way to introduce ourselves to some students or see if there's any interest in that group of students now? One of the things Dan and I were going to do today, there's a tech college near us, but we keep forgetting the name of it. So we're actually going to go we're going to go drive down there to get
Yeah.
their information, because we were thinking the same thing, to see if there were any students that maybe had an interest in working with us and growing with us.
Yeah, yeah, I'm happy to connect you. You know, just so you know, at ECU, summer is not the best time to do that, right?
Sure.
A lot of kids are gone or whatever, but yeah, we're technically part of it's called the Miller School of Entrepreneurship. So I will connect you with David Mayo and Michael Harris are the two guys that you can chat with. And I don't know what the vehicle is. I know they run programs all summer. I know one program they run is aimed at high school kids who are interested in stuff. So there's several groups. There's also something called the Northeast Alliance, which is another group. Just so you know, in North Carolina, up until about 2010, there were all of these economic development offices all around the state, and they closed them all, and they all became ones that survived are on their own. They're not part of the state at all. So the Northeast Alliance is an example of one. I think there's 7 or 8 of them around the state. And those groups are really good to know. And you'll be able to connect with a lot of companies, a lot of people, and they're all nonprofits. So I just happen to know the Northeast Alliance people, but I know there's one in Wilmington. I'm sure there's one, you know, out your way, Salisbury, Asheville, Charlotte. So yeah, that's a group to follow out. And go ahead.
David Mayo also teaches managing the family business class. And as part of that class, we had to team up to help a small business, a family-owned business, make improvements
Yeah.
by suggestion. So that's another aspect of where they can help out.
Yeah. Sydney Allgood puts on here the Rise 29 program is another program at ECU that they look for interns to work on projects, although most of those are in far eastern North Carolina, like the beach and in that area over that way, to my knowledge, but maybe they've expanded which counties that they operate in. But yeah, David Mayo and Mike Harris will know. I don't know, I'm guessing, but they know, and they're in charge of that stuff, and I'm pretty sure they can help.
Hey, Dennis.
Yeah.
I did Rise 29 as well, and mine was in Farmville, so it's not always at the beach, but it's definitely a good opportunity that I can connect the director to Rachel.
Great. That'd be wonderful. Way to go, Grant. Yeah, and you know, I think that the community colleges are big also. I think that, you know, there's a lot of them in North Carolina, and some of them are pretty good from what I understand in terms of you know, they have a lot of kids that go there. They're pretty big populations of students. So that's another angle, to say nothing of the 4-year schools in your area. You know, there's UNC Charlotte, I know is probably near you guys. There might even be one in Salisbury for all I know. I have no idea. Yeah, I think if you think about what you're doing, you know, and why, and you have that goal and that vision, that's your job to sell that, whether it's to a potential employee, a potential partner, a potential customer. That's really the core of what we're trying to do here, is trying to help you really get a handle on just why are you doing this and how do you explain it to people. It'll make a big difference. Sydney's asking, guy's name is Gary VEE, and he's all over the place. You'll see him on, he's got Instagram, he's on Clubhouse, for those of you who get Clubhouse. He's everywhere. And he's still a maniac, even though that video is a couple years old. He's still going strong, just like that. You know, cussing his fool head off. But anyway, that's really all I had for today on this topic. We're going to have a lot more on this subject, I promise you. But the idea of finding high net worth individuals, kind of non-traditional ways of finding somebody to help you finance your business. It's not going to a banker. and doing a bank loan. You know, it's a different animal altogether. And let's see here, my alarm is going off. So how do I turn it off? Okay, change, sleep is off. Okay. I don't know what's going on, but things are happening here. But anyway, that's all I've got at this point. And I'm glad you all could come. And tomorrow will be the opposite end of the spectrum. We're going to have one of the top venture capital guys in the country will be speaking, and that's a whole nother world. And but there's a lot to be learned, and his relationships may be very helpful to you, even if you're not necessarily a prospect for funding by venture capital, which do tend to focus on technology companies, truthfully. But it's still, this guy has seen it all. He's had a lot of pitches over the years, and I think he'll be interesting, and you'll get value out of it no matter where you are on the spectrum. Any other thoughts or questions at this point? Okay, so I'll post David Mayo and Mike Harris's email in the Slack channel, so you can reach out to them. And Grant will take care of Rise 29. I don't know exactly who does that, but Grant went through the program, so he knows. And you know, anything else we can do to help you all, you know, just let us know. And you know, I really want you to have what you need. I don't always know what that is, but I will try to find it. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us today. See you tomorrow.